Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HD broadcast, and today I've got a real treat for you guys. It is going to be a Terran versus Zerg, and on top of that, our Terran player is none other than BoxeR. Now, yes, I know that there is the original BoxeR, Slayer's BoxeR, who is, as you guys all know, or some of you guys may know, most of you guys may not, he is known as the Emperor in South Korea. He is the best Starcraft Brood War player in the entire world. He was known as the best when he was at his height and prime. But now he has come back to start playing Starcraft 2 again, and I know his account is Man of One Way, but he may have other accounts. I do believe this is the actual BoxeR, and I'm inclined to say that because this was such a highly rated replay on this, where I got it from. And because of that, I do believe that this is the actual BoxeR. I may be wrong, but nonetheless, he is going to be playing Set. And unfortunately, I don't know who Set is. I guess he's a pretty good Zerg, but nonetheless, this was an extremely highly rated replay. And I think we're going to be in store for a pretty darn good match. Now, some of you guys may notice that this map is the old map. I already actually forgot the name. This is one of the old 2v2 maps from way back in the Starcraft 2 beta. In fact, I think this map was around when Blizzard first introduced Starcraft 2 at BlizzCon, and this is one of the exhibition matches they showed. It was a 2v2. Well, since then, they've just converted this map into a 1 versus 1 map, and it's actually in the ladder pool. And for those of you guys who actually play ladder, you guys might notice, I'm not saying that, you know, you guys don't play ladder. I'm sure all of you guys have played it at one point or another, but I'm sure you guys now all notice that this map is in the 1 versus 1 ladder pool, and it's a bit of an interesting decision from Blizzard to put it in. I think it can be a difficult map if you spawn on the same side as where your teammate would be. But maybe Blizzard has changed the way the map works so that that doesn't happen. Anyways, it is once again going to be Set versus BoxeR. I am so excited to be casting this game. I think we're going to be in store for a very good matchup here. And right away, it looks like BoxeR here might just be opening with an early Reaper. The drone will scout that out. It is going to see the tech lab, and we do have a Reaper on the way. This unit, the Reaper, really one of the best units that a Terran player can open up with against Zerg, especially when the Zerg decides to go for a hatch first, which does seem to be the case here. Set has gone for a hatchery first, and this is the most vulnerable to a Reaper rush because you have to defend both the main and the natural. And look at this, BoxeR is going to be throwing down a bunker right behind the hatchery, and he's gonna, oh my goodness, Set is not going to see this bunker until the hatchery morphs. There we go. Is he going to pull drones off the line to deal with this? He has 6 Zerglings on the way. So presumably he should be able to handle this, but the Reaper already making its way out. A very deadly Reaper indeed. BoxeR looking to go for a fast expand here as well, right after the barracks, so 1 barracks FE, and we're almost certainly going to be seeing a 3 racks transition. Meanwhile, back into the Zerg natural, it looks like the bunker is going to be forced to be salvaged, so good play from Set, the Zerg player, to get his drones, get his Zerglings over there, and take down that bunker. That's going to force the Reaper to fall back, but Set here doesn't know that. He's still in the dark with regards to how many Reapers are coming out. It looks like it is going to be a Marauder, but as far as how many Reapers Set knows, I think he's just very confused right now. He might just be forced to play in a very defensive position rather than being offensive because he might think there's like 4 or 5 Reapers on the way when in fact there's only 2. And BoxeR seems to be transitioning into a very defensive mindset now, getting a Marauder out. 2 Reapers on this cliff, gonna pick off the scouting Zerglings. Set so desperately needs to see what is going on inside the Terran main, and he cannot afford to sacrifice an Overlord to walk across this entire main base to get over to the natural to see what's building. But he is gonna get his Zergling in here. He sees the command center. Very big scout right there. And with that, notice there are actually 12 Zerglings on the way. Wow, I am sure Set did not want to produce those 12 Zerglings. If he could, he would want those larvae back to produce mass drones right now because, well, no, he's actually going to be producing more Zerglings, so he might just try to force the cancel on this command center. Now, the reason why I said why did the Zerg player want to produce more drones, because if you know that your Terran player is going for this fast expo, you do have 2 options, and usually the safe option is to mass drone and just outproduce the enemy Terran. Zerg Zerg can produce so much faster than Terran can in terms of drones. But the other option is, of course, because Set produced half these Zerglings already and he's producing more, why not try to force this command center, why not try to force the Terran player to take some punishment for being greedy? And that's exactly what Set's gonna do, coming in with a bunch of speedlings surrounding the Marines and Marauders. BoxeR here, he did transition into getting more barracks, but not quite enough. He didn't have a bunker at his front door, and I don't think BoxeR expected such an aggressive counterattack from Set. The APM from these players just blisteringly fast, and a couple of Reapers coming back from the center of the map, and these Reapers with proper control should be able to deal with this Zergling threat. The speedlings are just so fast, but it looks like their bodies will be slain by the Terran army, so good control from BoxeR, but more speedlings coming in. Set is continuing to be aggressive. Notice he's producing more and more Zerglings. A Hellion does come out though. Will BoxeR be able to micro this Hellion to safely get away from these Zerglings? He might even need to use SCVs here, and he uses his SCVs to block off the Zerglings so his Hellion can get a good shot from where it's protected. But the speedlings here are so fast. There's so many SCVs that could possibly go down here, and oh my goodness, BoxeR here just dug himself into one of the largest holes possible, known to man, known to BoxeR. He is now way far behind. I don't know how many SCVs he's lost. You guys can see though on that income tab, 16 under 22. So actually, while the Zerg player should be much further ahead, he is not producing that many drones because he's still trying to be aggressive with all these speedlings. I love this style of play. Play ultra aggressive, and that completely throws off your opponent's timings. They can't go with their standard build order. Everything changes. The name of the game completely changes, and you can see now BoxeR so scared he cannot put these SCVs back to mining for a while. He has to leave them on the ramp in anticipation of another Zergling mass counter. And look at how many speedlings there are on the map. There have been no more additional drones that have been produced for Set. He's still at 22 drones a piece, or not a piece, but just for the Zerg player. But interestingly enough, he's actually throwing a bunch of spine crawlers on his wall. Very curious here why he's decided to go defensive. I guess now he's decided he's going to mash up drones. Yeah, you guys can see pumping a ton of drones, 5 drones on the way. But I can't quite agree with throwing up such early crawlers. He could have kept his speedlings out here to keep the Terran player at bay. I'm sure BoxeR would not have been aggressive at this precarious position that he's at right now. But instead, the Zerg player going to play extremely safe. You're going to throw up a couple crawlers, and he's going to start to work on the macro game. And look at this entire time, he was teching up on that one, on his 2 bases, on his 22 drones, and he's gotten Spire on the way. So he will have a transition out of this mass speedling attack into Mutalisks, but BoxeR really has quite a few Marines. He's got combat shields on the way. The stim pack has already been researched, and there we see BoxeR really transitioning into hardcore Marines and possibly Marauders, just 3M standard with dropships coming out. No reactor yet. I'm curious why BoxeR has not decided to build a reactor on the factory and then swap it with a starport. But it looks like we are going to be seeing some drop play from BoxeR. Now, whether or not this is the real BoxeR or if it's just an imposter, this just symbolizes the standard style of play of BoxeR. He loved to use dropships, paratroopers in Terran vs. Zerg, drop off these hero Marines and use a stim, micro them well, and he was so damn good at that. And look at that, he's going to be dropping off Marines here. The Queen going to go down, and now these Zerglings should get out of the way. Look at that, BoxeR picks off the Queen, suffers no casualties whatsoever, and those Marines going to go back home to be awarded the golden medal there for slaying the Zerg Queens. So now Set realizes he's facing up quite a few Marines, so he's going to get a Baneling's Nest down. I do agree with this. Maybe we're going to see fungal growth from infestors pretty soon here. But BoxeR now feels like he has a chance to push out. Notice the economy for both players, somewhat even. The Zerg might be just a little bit ahead. The Zerg also has some Mutalisks coming out as well, and I think he should be fine because he preemptively threw up so many crawlers. Well, this is not so many, but 2 is quite a bit for how early they went up, and I think with his Mutalisks and Zerglings, he should be able to hold this off, but we'll see. BoxeR going to run in here. A lot of speedlings coming out, and I think the Terran force is going to be forced to retreat. Notice BoxeR has to engage on this ramp. He really cannot fall back. There is nowhere to run because if he goes to the dropships, the Mutalisks will pick off all the dropships, and great play right there from BoxeR, using the stim, using the resilient Terran force right on that ramp, and only 1 spine crawler remains. There's quite a few Mutalisks, however, and I think Set will be able to force BoxeR's push back. Oh man, BoxeR is gonna lose absolutely everything. That is a lot of Mutalisks, And back to Terran main, we should be seeing a bunch of turrets going up. There's one at the Nat, and there's two in the main. So BoxeR realizing that he has just lost all control of the map with that attack. And that really is the difficulty of playing Terran, guys. If you play Terran and you push out, it takes so long for your forces to rebuild that should you lose your entire army, you are in a huge hole. Now that the Mutalisks have map control, they can pick off all these Marines, but Set is deciding not to pick off the Marines. His Mutalisks are very weak, and he could have potentially lost 4 or 5 mutas there if BoxeR had controlled well. But oh my goodness, Set gonna come in here being ultra aggressive once again with all the mutas in lanes. Like 3 or 4 Mutalisks just went down right there. Notice BoxeR controlling his Marines and focus firing the mutas that were in the red first. Absolutely brilliant micro from both of these players. This is an astounding game of Starcraft 2. Such an amazing display of skill and discipline from both these players, especially our Terran at that last battle right there. But from the Zerg right there to fend off this Terran attack, it's been such an absolute seesaw battle. And look at this, BoxeR gonna come in through the short route with 3 dropships towards the south. The Zerg player could potentially lose a lot of his infrastructure here. He needs to bring his Mutalisks back. He's still playing cat and mouse with the Marines inside the Terran main, but BoxeR is going to drop off. What's he going to focus down first? It could go for the Hive, it could go for the Baneling's Nest. That's a lot of Marines and Marauders. I don't think this is enough mutas to handle it, and now all the mutas forced to fall back to defend against this. Will Set have enough to fend this off? There's quite a few Marines. It's going to be extremely close. The Marauders have now been told to focus down the drones because unfortunately their rocket-propelled grenades do not reach the mutas, and oh no, it looks like Set with some reinforcements will force the Terran player to hold back and fall away. So what a good defense right there from Set at the very last moment. I don't think he lost too many drones, but we have yet another drop coming in from BoxeR. BoxeR here playing just like the BoxeR of old, bringing in the drops constantly and consistently. A second dropship coming in, but Zerglings here ready to fend this off, and I think with 1 casualty, these Marines will be forced to hold off until a 3rd dropship comes. BoxeR here trying to find a safe LZ to land his dropships, keeping the Zerg player very scared, and now we finally have some Banelings coming out. I was wondering when we were going to see that. Banelings, of course, if you could just place them in a well-placed spot, then they can obviously pick off the Marines very easily as soon as they drop off. A nice little Overlord pick off for BoxeR. And if we look at the food for both these players, Terran at 108, he's very high right now, obviously. The Zerg player at a measly 65, my goodness. I was not expecting the Zerg player to be that far behind. And oh wow, we can see right there on the income tab just how far behind the Zerg player has fallen in economy. 35 under 58. He's almost half of the Terran player's army size, and BoxeR here very much in a commanding position. Even though it looked like it was a close game, somehow BoxeR was able to just out macro and outproduce SCVs compared to the Zerg. Look at his natural. Set is just not very much saturated at all. He's trying to get Infestor Baneling now to deal with these mass Marines, mass Marauders, but is it too late for the Zerg? I think he might be in a lot of trouble. Those drops might have just kept the Zerg player far too scared to produce drones. It might have played too much of a psychological mind game with the Zerg player, and now BoxeR doing what he does best, pushing forward, about to secure the victory over the Zerg. Unless Set can pull out some kind of miracle here, it's not looking too good though. His Banelings do not have speed. Centrifugal Hook's not quite done yet. The Banelings forced to engage, but all the Marines running back. Brilliant micro from BoxeR to keep the Marines away from the Banelings, and now that is going to be GG. So Set loses the game, and yes, so it was it most likely was the actual BoxeR, as we saw the Korean GG right there. But an incredible display of skill from both these players. But BoxeR there has shown that, hey man, if I can drop you and I can play mind games with you, and while I'm dropping you, I'm gonna make a crap ton of SCVs, and that's exactly what he did. And the Zerg player just kind of played so defensively that he never had a chance to build all his drones up. He just continually built mass Zergling, mass mutas, and unfortunately never really did that much damage to the enemy Terran's economy. So there we have a very well-played game from both these players, but BoxeR taking the win with some brilliantly controlled dropship play. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that broadcast, and of course stay tuned for more HD commentaries to come. Tell your friends, hit that yellow subscribe button. It really does help me quite a bit, guys. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys so far for all the support. So make sure to stay tuned for more commentaries to come. HD signing out.